Fear is basically a premature and negative reaction to the anticipation of an event. I kind of divide fear in two categories. One, fear of something that never happened before, but you imagine that it can happen. Or two, fear of something that already happened and you don't want it happening again. But in both cases, you feel fear because there is an uncertainty involved. Uncertainty about things that you don't have under your control, or things that you think that you cannot control. Things that you think you cannot determine its course. Of course, if a bear crosses your way in the woods, this is not what I'm talking about. This, by the way, I would call legit fear. But the fear I am talking about is exactly the fear we have inside our heads, like the fear of change or failure. Both are somehow connected. I think if we understand well our fears, we have more chances to know how to cope with them. Why do we fear something? We fear changes because they can bring us an undesired outcome. We feel afraid of things turning out really bad. In this type of fear, I see essentially two different problems. A false belief about your abilities, and you think that you are not in control. And this leads to feeling unable to go ahead. Then you feel more insecure. Then you increase your fear, and then it ends up blowing it off. And then you think you were all the time right about it, but it's actually not true. This is called sabotaging. So let's cut this in parts. When we decide to make a change, no matter which is, we need to acknowledge that there are things that are under our control, but that there are also things that aren't. About what is not under our control, we need to be clear that this means that we are taking a risk. And once taking a risk, we acknowledge that the possibility of failure exists in a more natural way, and not necessarily because of us. But pay attention here. It's not about accepting the possibility of failure. It's about acknowledging that things can end up differently and not necessarily because of you. So when it's about risks, we are not the ones in charge at first. And it's important, very important, to be aware of that. Even because what you can control is your response to the eventual bad outcome. Anticipating bad outcomes, this you can use in your favor and make a plan B. And once being prepared, you're no longer caught on surprise. So actually, you get better in control. And you can manage your way out. So we kind of learn how to let God, fate, universe, or math, or whatever you believe in, to do its job. Because when it's about risk, this is something we cannot change. But actually, this is just a very small part. And once having a plan in case of a bad outcome, you are actually back in control. But one thing has to be said. Not all our fears can be managed with accepting the risks. When you don't trust your own abilities, you increase your chances of failing. Even the bear situation, let me bring this bear situation again. Yes, I'm a bit obsessed with bears lately, but this is a story for another video. If you learn defense techniques and you trust your own abilities, you are able to stay calm in the moment and manage the situation much better. So this way you are somehow affecting the outcome. So this way you are doing everything right and probably avoiding the attack. You still cannot control it 100% because you actually cannot control the bear, but you can handle it in a way that you also can influence the outcome. It's like one small act can influence a chain of events that might bring a desired outcome. So what I would like to see you doing is actually to change the focus to you. So all this being said, you actually notice that you are more in control than you think. So if the problem is the trust in your abilities, you notice that actually the problem is not what is not under your control, but actually what is under your control. How we very well know this has to do with our confidence. You need to understand why you don't trust them, or why you don't trust yourself. For this, I would like to suggest you that you make a small questionnaire to help you to understand why you don't feel confident. You can make sort of a checklist, and you can bring things like, do you feel prepared? If no, why? Did you plan? Do I have a plan B? Do I know how to make it happen? And if yes, how? What is gonna take to make it happen? If you get all these questions answered, you might find the root cause. Even because if you are all prepared, it might be that the problem is in your self-esteem. In this case, you need to work on it, or you will keep sabotaging yourself always. And this, by the way, is a topic for a whole new video. But in a few words, what you need to make clear is why you need these changes in the first place, and how much you want it, and understanding the whole process, and also where your fears come from. It will make it easier to even overcome them. Well, this is what I wanted to share in this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have ideas, suggestions, or other topics you would like to see here, please comment down below. And also, don't forget to leave in the comments what for changes in your life brought you fear and how you dealt with it. So for today, that's it, and thanks for watching, and I see you in the next video.